I'm now joined by our guest, Bernard Rotich, a sports writer with Kenya's Daily Nation, live in Eldoret. Bernard, welcome to Sports Scene. I'll begin by asking you, do you think this year's AK conference will have a big impact in the fight against doping in the country?
Thank you very much. I know athletes have they were invited, and the seminar or the conference has really helped a lot. If you can remember, about 4 years ago, there was less of such meetings, but coming up with such conference, and especially starting with the road runners and the marathon athletes, it was a good plus, because these are the people who mostly there are so many in Kenya, and most of them normally travel to other countries to participate in the races. And talking about doping, I think the seminar has really, it's a plus, or it's something good, because it's going to change the mentality. Remember, maybe this thing happens because of ignorance, but bringing up the AIU or the integrity unit to teach and give lessons to athletes, that was a good idea, and more of these meetings should be done, because remember, Kenya is the leading in terms of road runners and marathoners. There are a lot of athletes in Kenya, and given the chance, this will be a good plus for the country, and maybe the menace will be wiped away.
And Bernard, obviously there are a number of voices, especially in this part of the world, that believe that the AIU is biased against African athletes. Do you believe that their presence here will have eased some of those fears?
Yeah, it's true. Many think that AIU is biased against Africa, but seeing the team from the integrity unit, athletics integrity unit coming themselves to come and do the lessons here and in Kenya, and interact with the marathoners and give out the do's and don'ts. That, I think, is something that maybe it will change that mentality that AIU is against Africa. Remember, most of the Kenya is in category A, of course, and we are the leading in number of athletes who have doped. So it's something that seeing the AIU officials coming themselves to give out the lessons and teach the athletes, I think that is the right mentality. Now people should change the mentality, saying that by not saying that Kenya or AIU is targeting Africa or Kenya or Ethiopia.
And finally, obviously, despite criminalizing doping in Kenya back in 2016, the cases here do seem to keep rising. Why do you think this is the case?
The numbers keep rising, maybe because, one, we have, I can say there is ignorance. Most of the athletes, and I can say ADAC has not maybe reached many of the athletes. Remember I said Kenya has the largest number of athletes in the world, and we have a lot of upcoming and of course elite athletes. And I think getting rid of the problem is getting into the grassroots and getting everybody who is on the running field to get to know what is wrong and what is right, get to know what they use. So one thing is ignorance. The athletes need to be educated. And remember, if we get education to the grassroots level, remember the national, it's called ADAC, Anti-Doping Agency of Kenya. They wanted to introduce the syllabus. The ADAC wanted to introduce the doping as a syllabus in primary schools. So that is the right thing to do as you start talking about doping in the junior level. So by the time they get into that senior level, you will not hear of doping again. So the right thing is to start early preparing these athletes, because ignorance is what is making doping menace maybe increase in Kenya.
All right, Bernard, thank you very much for that. Bernard Rotich, sports writer with the Daily Nation here in Kenya, joining us live there from Eldoret.